Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Conclave. So, I don't know. No idea. 7.2 on IMDb. So, I have to watch it, right? And I actually just talked to a friend of mine who is actually a priest. And he says, when I describe it to him, it sounds like the Da Vinci Code kind of stuff. So, let me say what IMDb says. When Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with leading one of the world's most secretive and ancient events, selecting a new pope, he finds himself at the center of a conspiracy that could shake the very foundation of the Catholic Church. Now, those of you who don't know, I was born Roman Catholic. I am Roman Catholic. But, regardless, Ralph Fiennes is in it, the menu. Stanley Tucci is in it. John Lithgow. Isabella Rossellini is in it. She's always great. I'm sure there's other people that are in it that are just elevated. So, I don't know, 7.2 on IMDb. I'm interested. So, it's 2 hours long, 2 hours and 23 seconds. Stick around, I'll let you know what I think. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Conclave, and I honestly say it surprisingly held my interest the entire time. It is, the Pope dies, right? And I guess Conclave is when you run an election for the new Pope. So all the cardinals come together and they do this, where they get, what is that called? Sequestered, and they continue to vote. And it's day after day. So it starts off with like all these cardinals, and they continue to vote down and vote down and vote down until they have majority vote. And that's what it is. And so Ray Fiennes is the dean, I guess, it's considered, that's supposed to run it all. And, we got Stephen Tucci, is that right? And John Lithgow is in it. So there's like all these aspiring cardinals who want to eventually be Pope. Stanley Tucci. Did I say Steve? Stanley. John Lithgow's in it. And there's other people. There's some guy from South Africa, from the Congo, in it, so there's all these different kinds of things that's going on. And it really turned into more of like what I felt like a political movie, right? So, instead of being president, they're trying to be Pope, and it's all this kind of stuff, but they can't talk about certain things. Isabella Rossellini is like one of the sisters or nuns that's involved. Very small role. I mean, she's in it throughout, but doesn't have a lot of speaking parts. But anyway, and it's amazing. Like as you watch this and you're seeing what's unfolding, which is very similar to a presidential election. People aren't who they say they are, and especially in like this kind of like at first I was like, everybody's all on the up and up, and they just have different beliefs, like, about gay marriage, or I forget what the other things were, so some kind of things that are maybe, different viewpoints from people in the Catholic Church, right? So okay, so you're kind of like, it's very similar. But then you find out, oh, this guy did this, and it's like, whoa. So I found it interesting, and I was all involved, and it's like, okay. And then, you have all these people who are trying to be the Pope, and they're all cardinals, and it dwindles down, and people who don't want to be Pope, they're trying to get them in there, so on and so forth. So, and it's very well done. Like, enough to hold your, whether you're into politics or the Catholic religion, the Pope, Rome, any of that kind of stuff, I think it's so well done that and you think about it, these people are just essentially sequestered for multiple days just voting. You know what I mean? So and it would be like, okay, this is going to get boring. But like I said, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours was a little bit much, but held my interest the entire time, up until the end. And then I have to talk a little bit more. But great acting. And it felt like besides Ray Fiennes and Stanley Tucci, like John Lithgow didn't have that many opportunities to shine, but he was in it, so it's a very I don't know. It's just well done in the fact that there's not as much dialogue as you would think, besides outside of the guys that I mentioned. So, great acting. The way they put it together. I should look, which I should have done in the beginning, was who is the director, right? Probably everybody's like, yeah, Edgar Berger. Oh, no, Peter Strasghan and Robert Harris are the writers. Edward Berger. I don't know. Maybe I've seen other things, but great job. Great job bringing that kind of stuff to film and keeping you interested. Might be something you're interested in. But without leaving you, I do want to do a little bit of a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it, duck out. I'm not going to ruin the ending. But spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I talk about the guy from Congo. And if you've seen it, you now know what I'm going to talk about. Like, what? Do people like that really exist? So I don't get it. Was he a female? And just found out at the age of 30 that he was a female? Or is there people who are mixed gender? And I'm not being a jerk or anything like that. I get there's people who want to change their gender. There's transgender. There's all these kind of different things. And I'm not saying anything about that. But it sounded to me like our man was like a little bit of both. Is that? I've never heard of that before. I've heard of people who want to change who they are. You know, people who hide who they are. But in this case, it sounded like, I don't know, externally, differently than internally. I don't know. So there you go. That I had to share that with you because I didn't get it. It would have been okay if they would have just said, "Oh no, I was this way and I made it all the way through this way, and now I'm going to be the Pope." Okay, you know, that's fine. But when the way that it was presented to me was like, I don't know. So there you go. Hopefully, I said spoiler alert, so I didn't ruin it for you, but I don't know, that threw a big wrench in everything like that. But very well acted, very well filmed, especially for something like that. It's probably not going to drive a lot of interest from a lot of people because it's Catholic Church, it's Rome, it's Pope, it's stuff like that. That seems kind of boring, but it actually was very entertaining. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.